The Ayurvedic approach to IBS. So in the last video, we talked about why Western approaches to IBS often fall short because they focus on symptom treatment rather than on rejuvenating and healing the body. So now let's look at the Ayurvedic perspective on IBS and how it works much differently from our current and modern Western approach. So there are really two key components that I think are super important, and it's true about all disease in Ayurveda, and that is the balance of Agni and Ama. So Agni is your digestion, it's your metabolism. Agni translates to fire, and it's the fire of transformation. So it's transforming food into nutrients, and then those nutrients are getting transported throughout your body and turning into new muscle tissue and energy and everything that we need inside of our body to function. So obviously, we're not made out of all the food items that we eat. We transform those food items into new bodily tissues. The antithesis of Agni is Ama. Ama can kind of loosely be translated to mucus, but is not exactly correct. The way we understand Ama in Ayurveda is toxins. And so these toxins can build up in the digestive system. And once they build up in the digestive system, eventually they'll transport out into the body. And once they start circulating through the body, they can build up in different areas and lead to disease. And that's where all disease comes from, unless it's an external disease, but we're not focusing on that. So with the internal disease and with the digestion, primarily all the Agni and Ama balance is concentrated in the digestive tract and the digestive organs. And that's what we're going to be focusing on understanding of the balance of Agni and Ama. So we all know what the digestive system looks like, but here's a quick illustration of how that works or what that looks like. Okay, so simple illustration of the digestive system. Obviously, first thing we do is we eat food. I'm not necessarily condoning burgers right now, but it's just for illustration's sake. And then it goes down to our stomach, and then obviously our digestive organs here, liver, gallbladder, spleen, etc., are all aiding in the digestion, goes through the small intestines, and then through the large intestines and out. So first, our stomach is going to be cooking the food. That's the Agni that I was talking about. And Kapha here, we're talking a little bit about the doshas. So Kapha would be the structure of the stomach. And then Kapha would also be the mucosal lining that's protecting the stomach. And then in here, the digestive fluids would be Pitta or Agni, Jatar Agni, the big Agni. And that's what's going to start breaking down food and moving it into the small intestines. And when all this is functioning properly, that's great. The food then moves into the small intestines and works its way through, and it's moving through the intestinal wall, these nutrients that are being broken down into our bloodstream and then circulating throughout our body. So this is all would be like healthy Agni. What happens when our digestive system gets disturbed through improper eating or like wrong time of eating, wrong foods that we're eating. And all of this can be viewed in my Ayurvedic guide for IBS that's included with this course. Move over there. When we do wrong things for our digestion, then Ama builds up. So this is just an illustration of food building up. And then this lining, this would be like Ama building up. So undigested food particles that get stuck in the intestinal lining. And then as we eat new food, that lining is still there. And then the food is passing through with little bits of Ama into the bloodstream and then into our digestion. And eventually that circulates throughout our whole entire body, and then disease develops. Luckily, in the case of IBS, the disease is centralized to the digestive tract. So you're still on the early end of the disease development. But if you have like IBS with skin rashes, then this is where like Pitta Ama, the fire dosha, is built up in the intestines and then has moved into your circulation and is now developing on your skin as a rash. That was like the disease process of having like IBSD, excess Pitta, and then other diseases starting to develop as a result of that poor digestion and that buildup of Ama. So the main thing to be taking away from that is that we always want to be nurturing good Agni, and then we always want to be decreasing Ama inside the body, and that will lead to a state of health. And we'll get into a lot more specifics throughout the course in diet and digestion and different herbs and foods that we can start eating and focusing on and timing. All these different factors that will encourage the increase of Agni and the reduction of Ama. Now back to IBS. So IBS is an imbalance in the body. It's not just in the digestion. And I know we're going to be very digestion focused here, but it's the doshic influence on the body that's also going to be causing a problem or be pushing your body into a specific way of what type of IBS that you're going to develop. So which dosha is out of balance is going to dictate which type of IBS you have. In general, Vata in the body is in control of movement. In general, Pitta in the body is in control of transformation. And in general, Kapha in the body is in charge of structure and lubrication. Each dosha is playing a part in every single cell in your body 24/7. As we saw in the example of the stomach illustration, Kapha would be like the structure of the stomach. Kapha would also be the mucosal lining that's protecting the stomach. Pitta would be the hydrochloric acid and pepsin and other digestive enzymes that are transforming your food into usable nutrients. And then Vata would be the churning of the stomach and the peristaltic movement of the food through the small intestines and the colon to eventually be eliminated. And it's also governing the movement of the food through the intestinal wall into the digestive system or into the circulatory system, and then circulating throughout your entire body. So you can see if one of the three doshas in that whole entire digestive process is out of whack, either in excess or in depletion or not functioning properly, then that can really disturb the delicate balance of all three of them working in harmony to create a healthy life. When one of them's out of balance, then obviously that's where the disease is coming from, in addition to the Agni and Ama. So Vata type IBS is often like mixed IBS. It'd be alternating constipation and diarrhea because of the excess movement of the food through the body. That's excess Vata. It's pushing everything out. And then once everything's empty, then it can dry out, and then that would create constipation. And then with Pitta being fire, it's hot, so it's like melting all the food. It's overcooking all the food. It can be very acidic, so you'll be experiencing like heartburn and things like that, in addition with the Pitta. And then with the IBS-D, Pitta, and then obviously diarrhea. So it's just like a constant urgency to go. Sometimes it could be burning coming out the other end, which is unpleasant. So that's like the Pitta influence on IBS. And then the Kapha influence on IBS would be like slow, sluggish, heavy digestion, oftentimes like excess mucus, like in general, but then mucus in the stools as well. So you're probably getting the picture now how IBS C, D, M, from the Western perspective, have all these different treatment protocols. But from the Ayurvedic Eastern perspective, that it's a little bit more specialized and different in its approach, and it's not going to be just the same one size fits all for each IBS. Ayurveda really seeks to understand the balance of your digestion. Like, do you have good metabolism? Do you have a large buildup of toxins? Or are you depleted and then in excess? And then it's also looking at the three doshas and what their balance of influence is on the body, which is creating then the different types of IBS that you're experiencing or the individual might be experiencing. And then with this understanding of the Agni-Ama balance, the doshic balance, and understanding the type of IBS that you have, we can create a very personalized, very specialized treatment protocol for you. It's like your IBS is unique to you. Your body is unique to you. Where you live in the world is unique to you. How old you are is unique to you. So all these different factors are all completely, genuinely unique to you and your life. And your treatment protocol is then going to also be unique to you. So like in my case, and then the case of many of my clients, like I can have two IBS-D clients side by side that look fairly similar. It could be, female in their 30s and, have a job, things like that. But their treatment protocols are going to be completely different because one, her development of IBS might have been from since puberty. And then another one, her development of IBS might have been just in the last 3 years. One might have been stress-induced, one might have been a hormone-induced. So there's different things that are causing these things to happen. And in both cases, Pitta dosha is disturbed, but not in both cases is the causative factor of Pitta dosha being disturbed. So then the reverse the reversal of that disease would be different for both of those people, even though on paper they both have IBS-D. And so through the examination of food, stress, your lifestyle, your work environment, your living environment, all of these things, we can start to put the pieces together to figure out why the Agni and the Ama are disturbed, and to figure out why or which dosha is disturbed and why. Diet is not the end-all be-all solution to IBS as is much approached in the Western world. And more looking now at like the mind-gut connection, which we'll go into deeper later in one of the courses. But yeah, IBS is very all disease is very specific and unique to you. And so throughout this course, and we're going to keep going deeper, how you're going to be able to delineate all of those things and then treat your IBS. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to talk more specifically about each and every single one of the doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So there'll be a really good introduction to the doshas. And then what a healthy expression of those doshas are, what an unhealthy expression of those doshas are, and what can be done to get them back in balance. So join me in the next video for understanding your dosha. And if you haven't already, you can join below and get all 10 of these videos into your email, plus my Ayurveda for IBS guidebook, which can be extensively helpful for going through this course. And if you've been enjoying this so far, I know it's only video 2, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. That's going to help get this in front of more people that need help. And if you're feeling inspired, you can comment below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about what you have going on. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.